Hi guys, Rule Time here. This is my first video on the account and I am so excited to share it with everybody out there. I hope you guys are excited to maybe learn a little bit more about me, see where my goals are going to be in the future. I used to do YouTube way back when. Actually, I thought that I was going to make it an entire career at one point, but instead I just made lame shorts, videos with my friends, which I will not be showing here.
Or else I'm going to kick you out of my place, okay? You haven't paid rent in a long time, okay? So, yeah. Rent? Why would I need to pay rent? That's what I have you for.
Those videos are old. Maybe some other day I'll go over those videos. But for now, I would love to talk about my first gaming experience. Since this is the first, video on the channel, I figure why not cover the very first games that I ended up playing. Resident Evil 2 and Zelda Wind Waker. This game is very special to me. In fact, both of these are amazing at different points in my life. Let's start with Resident Evil 2. This game is a masterpiece through and through. Even today, it has fixed camera angles. Playing as Claire and Leon, my two favorite characters in gaming. And I'll tell you guys a little story as well. When I was young, I didn't even know about video games at that point. Like, gaming back then wasn't really as big as it is now. And I had a friend that lived behind the house that I was with at the time. He came over and he was not a very good influence on me and my twin sister. And I remember going back to his house. He's like, hey, come, let's go check out my dad's PS1. And I was like, what's a PS1? I never even heard what this is, essentially. And we sat down and we started playing, and I'll never forget the first time that I died as Claire in the streets. Like, I didn't even make it out of the beginning portion of the game. I ran forward. I think I got eaten like 4 or 5 times and died. And that "you died" screen scared me for a very long time. And then actually we went beyond that and we actually made it to the police station at one point. Oh man. I'm actually thinking about it now. I remember getting to the kendo shop, his gun shop, and just that line, just that dialogue.
Freeze! Who are you? What are you doing here?
Don't shoot! I'm a human!
Ooh. Sorry about that, babe.
Like, I just remembering that atmosphere at that moment was just so incredible. It was a feeling that once you experience it for the first time, there was nothing like it beforehand. I mean, obviously you had the first Resident Evil, which I was very young, so I didn't get the opportunity to play. Just being there and remembering that atmosphere as he's going through his dialogue and talking with Claire, and then being eaten immediately after, it's a feeling I'll never forget as a gamer. And being so scared in that moment, and then making it past that point and going into the police station. I never really was like, and obviously I was really young, right? Like, the music back then didn't really hit me like it does now. And this game has some beautiful, incredible music that actually still carries all the way to today. Like, you could go listen to the save room thing. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Pretty much how I feel about it now is like when I got to the police station and then went forward and met the liquor for the very first time. I just remember being in that moment, and there's that whole like hallway, like just entering the hallway. You get that fixed camera angle outside the window. Before that, you actually see the liquor crawl up the window, and then you walk in, and it's like, oh. And then you see that cutscene, and then you see the dude's head decapitated. Man, oh, I was scared for years after I had experienced that. I think the worst part too is that being an adult now and thinking back on the first time I played this game is like, It's a feeling I'll never forget, ever. And then years later, I ended up playing this again because my dad ended up buying a PS1 for me when I got a little bit older. And I remember this game in particular, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna play it from beginning to end, and we're gonna beat this game, and I don't care how scared I get. And I am so glad that I did, because it's one of those gaming experiences that, even though it was my first video game I've ever seen or even knew about, I knew at some point down the line I wanted to beat this game and finish it. And that to me is what made this so incredible at the end of it. And then we kind of move a little bit forward. And yes, by the way, before I continue, the channel is going to be focused on horror game related content with some Zelda stuff thrown in here and there, because Zelda to me is one of my other favorite series of all time, and it starts with this game right here, Wind Waker. I remember my sisters and I all shared a console together. We shared our PS1, which funny enough is right here. God, I love this thing. Isn't it so cool? Like, this thing's just so cool looking, isn't it? Man, I love the look of the PS1. I don't know what it is. It's just so nostalgic. Ooh, and that opening theme. That'll never be beat. Crash Bandicoot, by the way, someday I would love to talk about all the Crash Bandicoot games, including the remasters. So anyway, back to Wind Waker. Wind Waker was actually the very first game that I ever bought beyond Resident Evil 2. That's, because my parents had bought that for me. But this, I remember seeing in GameStop, and just the cover alone really caught my eye because of the gold on it. It's so incredible thinking back on it now, because I remember picking this game up in the store and being so enamored by it. I was like, I need to have this game. And I had I saved up just enough in order to buy it, bought it, brought it home and played it. And the opening scene with that music is so incredible. I remember for the longest time I couldn't actually beat it, because you have to get these treasure maps that lead to Triforce shards, and that's kind of the main criticism of the game, is that later on down the line you actually have to decipher these maps that lead to these pieces. I just remember the opening level with Outset Island, Link having a sister. I have siblings, but my twin sister and I are the most closest. And just remembering that whole dynamic, because you rescue, you go rescue Tetra, and then your sister gets taken, and then later on down the line, you go rescue her at the Forsaken Fortress, or you think you do, and then you end up going on this huge adventure with Link, the Boat of Red Lions, and it's just so incredible. And I remember beating this game from beginning to end. That's pretty much it, and that's how my gaming journey goes. I got my GameCube from my dad's friend. We didn't have a whole lot of money back then and couldn't afford it, and I don't know, maybe he felt bad for me or something, but I remember sitting there playing the PS1, because I think I had Crash Bandicoot 2 at the time, and he had actually brought a GameCube, not this one, but one that looks just like it. And I remember too, because it had the top missing, and I didn't even remember. I thought that's actually how GameCubes were for the longest time, because that top was missing on the GameCube in particular that he had brought. Amazing. I had so many good memories with the GameCube. Someday, I'm beyond just talking about horror games and everything, I might just actually go back and review some of the GameCube games that I remember. I don't own a whole lot like I used to. I actually, right now, I mainly just have the Metroid Prime, which I would also love to chat about. Zelda, and I think I have the Twin Snakes, but beyond that, I don't have anything physical for it, but there are a lot of memories that I have with different games. And that's pretty much it. That's all about my gaming career. There's more to it. Maybe someday I'll touch on it more, but I just wanted to give a little brief history as long as this video is so far. And I also want to thank you guys for stopping in and watching this first video. I'm finally starting to break out of my shell a little bit, make some videos and content, and it just starts with a single step. And then I just want to thank you guys all so much. Remember, each one of you is important and how amazing each one of you are. Much love. Bye, guys.